Hey there guys, Portal Master 9351 here, and in this video I want to talk about the potential guest star character in Skylanders Imaginators. So, in a Game Informer article, if I'm correct, it was a Game Informer article online, there was an interview talking about Skylanders Imaginators, and there was a comment that the interviewer made about the Bowser and Donkey Kong Sky Amiibos, and the guy who was getting interviewed, I can't remember off the top of my head who it was, said that they do have they are planning to include a guest star, in a special guest into the new game. That particular quote was then removed from the article, and it's not been said anywhere else. The question has been redirected every time someone else has asked it, which does lead me to believe that this was a comment that was not meant to be published, or was a comment that was not supposed to be answered. The guy answered it not knowing that he wasn't supposed to answer it. They put it in the Game Informer article, and then they contacted the Game Informer people and said, remove this comment, we're not ready to reveal that yet. So I think that there's a pretty good chance that there will be some sort of a guest star. Now, they didn't specify Amiibo Lander, or Sky Amiibo, whatever. They didn't specify that. They just said a guest star. We can assume that it's going to be a Sky Amiibo, but there is a chance that it's not a Sky Amiibo. Why? Well, there's this thing going around about... So Activision owns Crash Bandicoot, who was a character much like Spyro with his own individual games, way back when, I think around the same time as the Spyro games, actually. He had his own franchise. And Activision now owns Crash Bandicoot. So there was a rumor that Crash Bandicoot was going to be released back in January as a character, because there was something that said Crash Packs. Well, those ended up being the Sky Amiibo double packs. So... whether or not that was intentional to, tease that or not, we can't be sure. We've been discussing, there's a rumor that Activision no longer has Crash Bandicoot. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I'm going to discuss it as if they do still have Crash Bandicoot. So, we know that there will be there will be 20 senseis, and there will be 11 villains, 31 figures in all. So, could we be dealing with a situation like last year, where all Skylanders get 2 per element, except Light and Dark, that get 1, and then we get guest stars to fill their places of the other Light and Dark characters? We could see that. But I think that the much more likely scenario is that all the Skylanders will get 2 figures, and then the villains, the 11th villain, is probably this character. Crash Bandicoot is a protagonist. He's not a villain. So, that basically, if that theory is correct, if the villain is the guest star, that rules out Crash Bandicoot. And I don't really know of any villains that would be immediately recognizable from the Crash Bandicoot franchise. I mean, yes, he had villains, but not immediately recognizable ones that, oh, yeah, that's what's-his-face, from 20 years ago. Crash Bandicoot would be much more iconic. So, it doesn't immediately rule out Crash Bandicoot, because it could just be an 11th Skylanders villain that's established, but I honestly think it's more likely that it is a guest star character, which would probably mean that it's going to be a Sky Amiibo. Now, out of the Amiibos that are currently in production or will be produced, there are only a handful of villains out of there, at least that I know of, and that would be Bowser, Donkey Kong, to a lesser extent Mewtwo, Ganondorf, and in the future there will be Bayonetta. Now, so the first 2, Bowser, Donkey Kong, those are out. Those have already been made. I highly doubt that they would just repose one of them or repose them at all. That would just be dumb, in my opinion. I mean, why would you do that? The other 3 characters that I mentioned, Mewtwo to a lesser extent, Ganondorf, and Bayonetta, well, Bayonetta is a much more mature character, and I don't really think that would fit into Skylanders at all. So that basically rules her out. The only 2 that are left there are Mewtwo and Ganondorf. And Mewtwo, and when I keep saying to a lesser extent, it's just because he was a villain he was like the antagonist in one of those, in like the movie made back in 2000 that I have on VHS tape. He was the main villain in that movie. So I don't really think that he would... I don't know his current standing. I don't know if he's really regarded as a villain by today's standards, but, I mean, Mewtwo is a Pokemon. And they are much more protective of their characters than even Nintendo is. They're even more protective. So I don't know if we'll ever see Pokemon crossover characters, as much as I would love a battle armor wearing Charizard wielding a gigantic sword. I would love that. But I don't think that's ever going to happen. That leaves Ganondorf. Well, Ganondorf, if you haven't seen that amiibo, he's a pretty cool looking amiibo. I'm going to admit, he looks pretty nice for an amiibo. And, he's a humanoid, but he's not a human. The same thing applies with Link, at least to my understanding. None of the Zelda characters are human. They are humanoids that are technically a different race. And I mean, I don't even think that's a problem, because we've got Chill, Torch, and Sprocket, which are very humanoid, and yet they are still Skylanders. So I don't think that it's a problem to have Ganondorf, as humanoid as he is, become a Skylander. Or at least, at the very least, a villain. I guess it's more what it would be, a reconciled villain. So, could we see Ganondorf, potentially? I still have no idea what this could be at all. I would say that the odds of it being Crash Bandicoot at this point are pretty slim. As much as I would love a Crash Bandicoot character, because we have some really old PlayStation 1 Crash Bandicoot games that I played when I was like 4. And I like Crash Bandicoot, and I think he would be a cool addition, but at the same time, I don't think that he will. Or at the very least, maybe they're just trying to fool us by saying that there's going to be 30 characters, or 31 characters, and just try to confuse us, but I honestly think that at this point the most likely character is Ganondorf. But like I said, that still confirms nothing, because we still don't even know if it's a Sky Amiibo that's going to be the guest star. But anyways, I thought I should give you guys this quick update on that there will be a guest star of some sort. We just have no idea what it is, as well as speculation on it. That's all I have for you guys today. Check out my social media down in the description. Also, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!